You're listening to Clearer, Calmer, Wiser, a short daily reset for thoughtful men who lead with strength and humility, at least some of the time. Tools and reflections to help you back to clarity and calm, especially when you're triggered. Maybe a manager undermined you, or a conversation doesn't go your way, or the kids are just, quite frankly, too annoying at the end of a long and tiring day. I'm Ben, and everything I share here comes from LeanMind, a set of simple, grounded tools to help you shift your state fast so you can think clearly, act calmly, and lead wisely. Let's get into it. So today's little podcast is for you if you ever suffer the pain, the struggle, the trauma, the torment, the worry, the anxiety of the 3:42 a.m. wake up. You probably know how it is. Brain whirring, mind fizzing, body fidgeting, unable to fall back to sleep. Likely, if you're like me, been prompted awake by a need to visit the toilet, then unable to go back to sleep. And then left only with the worries of the moment. Now, nothing looks good at 3:42 in the morning. Not even me. I don't even look good at 3:42 in the morning. The worries of the day feel amplified. They grow. They become sort of monsters of the mind. You know, whether it is you're running out of money, or whether it is you're almost certainly being manipulated out of your role by that undermining manager, or some other catastrophe. Now, the way to resolve this, the way to deal with this, isn't really about what happens at 3:42, because quite honestly, quite frankly, if you're awake at that time, ruminating on these things, there's not a whole lot you could do. Sure, I could suggest you listen to a meditation, or as one friend said, listen to the rest is politics. That has the effect of sending him to sleep. Whatever it might be, you know, we all have our own tools and tricks to help sort of settle the body, calm the body at that 3:42 a.m. moment. And maybe another time I'll share some of the specifics that I do. But no, the single most effective thing I find to positively affect the 3:42 a.m. wake up is actually what happens at 3:42 in the afternoon. And I'll come back to that in a minute. The thing I find waking up in the middle of the night, it's almost as if there is a kind of pool of highly flammable liquid which is coursing through my body, coursing through my veins at all moments, at all times. And the sparking to life is a moment of worry, is a moment of doubt, is a ruminating moment, a reflecting moment, a remembering moment, a fearing moment, whatever it might be. This is the spark. This brings this whole flammable pool of worry to life. And in that, one can no longer sleep. So the thing that I find, actually, as I said, that has the biggest impact on that is actually what I do during the day. It was actually what I do, for the convenience of this story, at 3:42 in the afternoon. Now, this 3:42 a.m. wake up makes sense to me because we spend our days, for the large part, very, very successfully, very, very effectively ignoring the things which are on our mind. We might ignore these things with the busyness of work. We might ignore this through endless scrolling. We might ignore this by listening to annoying podcasts. We might ignore this by drinking a lot of coffee. Whatever is your flavour, whatever is your thing, we are very well tuned, very well trained to ignore the underlying anxieties, to ignore the underlying bubbling discontents, the stuff which is the source of our worry. And when we go to sleep, of course, all of those usual defences have gone away. All you're left with is the stuff of your life. So the defences have gone. This is the only window that the underlying things have the opportunity to be heard. So they take good advantage of that. The reason that they kind of flood into our consciousness, into our minds, into our hearts at this 3:42 is that they're willing you to pay attention, willing you to hear them, to see them, to know them. And that's why I say the solution to the 3:42 a.m. wake up isn't at 3:42 in the morning, it's at 3:42 in the afternoon. The invitation, the question, the tools that we're talking about here, noting that a lot of these things that we explore on LeanMind, the tools here are about your ability to sit with discomfort, your ability to sit with the stuff that you don't like, to sit with the ideas you don't like, the stories you don't like, the bits of you that you don't like, because we all have those messy, shitty bits that we'd rather pretend were not part of us, but sadly do make up a good pool of who we are. So the opportunity is to get a little bit practiced, spending time with these ideas at 3:42 in the afternoon. The thing which has had the single biggest impact on my ability to sleep well is how much time I spend with these things during the day. I mean our ability to sit with discomfort. So my invitation to you, and like one of the tools that we're practicing here, is about sitting with discomfort, sitting with that feeling that you don't like. And feelings are not kind of some woo-woo thing that are dealt with by somebody else over there. Emotions and feelings are, as the neuroscientists will tell you, and that makes it okay for you because I've said the word science. Therefore, this is all acceptable, it's all palatable, it's all an okay thing to do. Neuroscientists will explain to you that actually emotion and feeling is the source of action. We only do anything in response to a feeling in the body. This is what activates our movement. This is what activates our doing. So feelings and emotion is the stuff of doing. So spending some time with the uncomfortable feelings and emotions is a really useful thing. It actually lessens their silent choreographing power over you. So my invitation to you is this. Take a quiet moment in the afternoon. Let's call it 3:42. Take a quiet moment, remove yourself off to a corner somewhere and cast your mind back to something that's happened that day or, recent time, something which kind of triggered you out, something which worried you, something which kind of sort of sparked a moment of anxiety. You don't need to make it too big a thing. It doesn't need to be a kind of, big T trauma moment. It can just be a little thing. And take your mind back to that. You might close your eyes. You might use one of the other tools, just 3 breaths, as a little grounding tool before you do this. And take a moment of pausing. Take a moment of reflecting. Then take your mind back to a moment where you were triggered, where you were tripped out, where you were angry. And when you're reflecting back on that moment, imagining yourself there, seeing yourself there, where in your body do you feel the tension rising up most? Where in your body do you feel that kind of pinch of anxiety? Noting that is a signal that there is discomfort. You might, as you recollect, feel that, see where in your body that is felt. And then the invitation to you is to come up and away. So as you're sitting there, envisaging yourself in this situation, feeling that in your body, come out of your body and imagine yourself kind of floating to the top of the room, to the top right corner of your room, looking back down on yourself that is feeling all of these feelings, that is kind of noting the emotion, the anger, the frustration, or whatever it might be of that moment. And the thing that you'll find is just in that reflection, by coming up, out of your body, you create some space around the trigger, space around the source of the anger, space around the source of frustration or fear or whatever it might be. And in creating the space around it, actually its hold weakens, it lessens, it's less compelling, it's less painful. And the more that you do that, the less need that the anger, the frustration, the pain or whatever it might be has to invade your sleep at 3:42 in the morning. So I leave this with you. This is my invitation to you today to practice this. So if you're interested in this, head on over to LeanMind, www.LeanMindWay, where we talk about all of these tools. There's an opportunity also to kind of meet and connect with other people who are playing with and practicing these things too. Other people who are like you, want to be asleep at 3:42 in the morning, not desperately trying to resolve some imaginary problem which is going to befall you tomorrow. If you like this, please share it, follow it, all of those useful things. And do head over to the website if it sounds useful. Until next time, I wish you well, and I wish you a productive use of your 3:42 in the afternoon tools. Until then.